Hey, this is RePenWolf-Gaming, and welcome to a game called Roadwarden. Now, I was looking for a game to kind of replace something, a series that was kind of long-lived on the channel, and this one's more of like a pixel-based Witcher, right? Have you ever played the Witcher series 1, 2, or 3? We're based on the trailers I've seen on Steam. How do I explain it? I don't know, we're like this wanderer of some sort, doing good and vigilante justice, if I'm guessing correctly. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have any saves or loads for this game, so I'm going in pretty blind. Hopefully we both enjoy it, let's enjoy it together. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept the struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. I have it seems two choices here. I leave the safety of the city walls. I still have my doubts. Well, everybody has their doubts, right? And a smart man is always doubting themselves. And what happens is if you still have your doubts, you don't leave the walls of the city, right? Oh, okay. Interesting. So we gotta actually leave the city walls to venture forth. So I leave the safety of the city walls for adventure. Because why would we leave otherwise? Please select the difficulty mode. This choice can't be altered later on. No time limit, more cash for the start, more quests are forgiving on casual mode. Standard mode, there's a 40-day time limit, regular rule set, okay. For those familiar with RPGs, and restricted for the returning Roadwardens, 30-day time limit, increased nighttime damage. Is that to us or for everything? I mean, I'm used to RPGs, so I'm just gonna go standard. Let's get my ass kicked, right? Can't learn if you don't bleed. The wall is still standing, and there are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be a place you're looking for. You're supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. You may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beastfolk, nor trolls, and the night is near. The palfrey breathes heavily, it had a long day. What's a palfrey? Huh? I'm gonna turn the music down just a scooch. I like the ambience, that's good. So I can hear myself talk, But it says I could just look for another shelter. So we're trying to go inside these walls apparently. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. So we go ahead and guns a-blazing. I could just abandon this place because I don't like the signs. But the bad sign is that why is the gate not open, right? There should be a guard of some sort, somebody at the front gate, or somebody saying, hey. So why is the door open? Why is there nobody around? And we should be soldiers here. So soldiers are well known for keeping guard 24/7, 365 at least. But this is a fantasy world, right? I mean, we're the first responder to this area, but we should probably. The first weird sign is nobody's here, right? So let's look around cautiously. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses barely cover the arid soil of this valley. But you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which get denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail is a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. Let's take a peek inside. Oh, looks like I might have got hurt. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. So our axe is our main weapon. I mean, if we're a sort of like woodsman or ranger, your axe is probably your best friend. If it's a very like olden times multi-tool. So we got 30 minutes before dusk, so it's about to be, the sun's about to set. And let's see. Vitality, you feel well. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. That's not good. So we're not even fully rested right now. Let's approach the gate. It's a ghost town in here. I mean, it's pretty small to begin with. There's only like a few tents. There's like a few small palisade walls. An abandoned camp. Chairs knocked over. This one doesn't even have legs. It's probably been abandoned for a while. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. Two people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. I could just look for another shelter. They don't look like much of a threat. I can enter. Well, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, right? I wish they would have told me what these people looked like, right? It just says people who are tired and disheartened, so maybe whatever thing that happened to this place happened. I mean, of course, it happened before we got here, right? And now it's gone. And they look defeated, so I mean, based on those kind of reading comprehension kind of deals, then I know I'm playing, thinking it through my head before I do my actions. It's the kind of the type of guy I am, but not looking much of a threat. I could probably enter. Takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul. So this guy, very amicable. He says durable, decent boots. I mean, you can tell a lot by a person by what kind of shoes they wear. Boots are made for moving long distances, keeping like your feet protected when you're out and about. So if these were commoners, they may not even have boots. Leather is an expensive resource. Way back in those Middle Ages time, they would have like sandals, or even be barefoot, or maybe wrapped in cloth. But decent boots, and he has a weapon, right? And it's made of iron. Iron and leather are very expensive resources. But we saw that the game had trolls in the thing, so I don't know. It's a fantasy world, possibly. Let's take a look at the second guy. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a little bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are wary yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these two surely look the part. Though there should be more of them. 8, you believe. Are these both soldiers and they're the last people left? I mean, her gambeson is loose, which, if you're a soldier, you keep your gear in well order, right? So are these people actually soldiers? I'll let them speak first. Let's get the gist of what they'll say, It's nice to see an unarmed traveler in this godforsaken shithole. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. That's not a good sign. Oh, it says unharmed. If you leave out the H in unarmed, that makes it a totally different sentence. The bitter man's voice is strong, yet timid. You'll be staying the night with us, I guess. We're soldiers, he and I, as the armored woman. Her Her moment switches from half asleep to relax. We'll do our best to keep the camp safe, but if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you need a good sleep. The problem with taking first watch is that it says, sure, leave it to me, or I'm exhausted. Do I trust these people? I mean, both these options don't look great. So if I tell them I'm exhausted, I could also tell them I'm weak, right? We're not feeling great, but if we say, sure, leave it to me, what are they going to do? Are they going to pretend they're doing things normally? We might get a chance to see what they do next. If I say I'm exhausted, I go to sleep and I might offend them. So, I don't know. It seemed like this game was a bit grim dark, you know, we're supposed to be a solo adventurer type, the Roadwarden. But yeah, sure, leave it to me. Fantastic, she rubs her hands together. I don't remember the last time I had more than half a night's sleep. The hours before midnight should be the calmest. Just wake up. Wake us up if anything happens. The man flashes you a wide smile. It's easy to wake us up. Just yell. He drinks from his mug. Oh, okay, so that gives me a little bit more information. If these guys were taking turns on watch and they're both awake right now, that doesn't bode well. If they really are soldiers and there's only 2 of them left, I mean, in my opinion, they wouldn't be combat effective anymore. But meaning, like, if you're down like half your guys, you know, from 8, you know, you're at 2, you're at 25% capacity or 25% strength. You can barely do anything besides stay alive. So let's ask them about their lieutenant. Wonder how to phrase your question. Oh, I get different ways. So I can be friendly, supportive, and cordial. I can be playful, use a joke or a witty comment. Distance, hide your emotions. Intimidating, hint at a threat. Invulnerable, be sad, tired, afraid, or hopeless. And whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. So if I'm asking about their lieutenant, I should probably be friendly. That's how I'd go about it. I don't want to joke about it because the guy could be dead. You don't joke about the dead. If I distance my emotions, they may become, what's the word? Wary of me, and I don't want them wary of me if I want allies. Intimidating, I mean, they may be tired, but they are still soldiers, and we don't need to get into a fight. And I don't want to seem weak. You know, for tough people in a tough place, being weak could mean that you're, what's it called? A liability, and they don't want you around either. So the best option I think here is friendly. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? Or I'm sure you're busy, so if you could just introduce me to your lieutenant, it's playful. I'm looking for your lieutenant. That's very direct, but soldiers also understand practicality and directness too. It's not a bad decision. But I don't know. This is also very wordy, so if I was a civilian, you know, you try to use more words to be seeming friendly, but the soldiers have their own culture. I'm not sure how the developers would understand the culture of people in like a field where life or death really matters. You know, like a paramedic, a doctor, a nurse, anybody who works in the emergency like services field or military, law enforcement. But I'm gonna still try to be friendly. We could try to make some friends. It's hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Can we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a sigh, dusts off her gambeson, and steps toward you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. You most definitely can. You and I. We most definitely can. You and I, though holding his rank, is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity, or are you looking for help? Oh. Battlefield promotion. That's not good. Oh. Last man standing. I mean, there's something good about that, and there's something bad about that too. If you're not getting replacements, I mean, the job gets done, but at what cost of what experience you're losing. She can't delegate tasks to anybody but herself, with just 2 people. I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. So are we part of this army or military? Or are we just like a contractor or like mercenary? Really? The soldier in the shirt leads forward. That explains how you got here in one piece, all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. Long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. I shake her hand. It may be a trap. I gesture her to stop, pretending to be embarrassed. I should wash myself first, but you can call me... I don't know, they're pretty good actors. But the disarray of this place, if she's the new lieutenant, I mean, I can understand... I mean, how grimdark is this place? Am I have to fight off these people who are... I mean, that bit of detail where it says she had a loose gambeson, right? The other guy is not wearing a gambeson either, but carrying a mace, and they look tired. What happened to the military force that was here? I mean, they can't all just die in a patrol, unless some of them are, like, dead and some deserted. But even then, like, if you're trying to survive here, you'd fix up some of this equipment. You'd stake out the whole area and, like, improve your defenses at least a little bit. But they're just sitting there, dejected, drinking alcohol. I don't know. I'm gonna shake her hand. How do you want people to call you? Mr. Wolf. Yeah. That's who I am. Okay. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tent. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. Ah, there's this one issue. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We have no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Does that mean, like, her grip wasn't firm? Like, just keep your... Or does it mean, like, the shake is slight? Or is it, like, she just up and down, like, a little bit, you know? It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm being very cynical of these people, but this is, like, a game about cynicism, apparently. I mean, those people seem cynical, so... So, no problem. I'll enjoy observing the stars. I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway. I mean, one tells them I'm a city boy, right? The other one says, like, he has an optimistic attitude, right? So let's go with that. And it makes us look strong. You walk through the gate, your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky. As heavy as it is strong. You can get into the saddle within a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquest in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. Palfrey. I'm gonna look that up real quick. I don't know what palfrey means. It's referring to our horse, but palfrey. So palfrey means a docile horse used for ordinary riding, especially by women. Okay. It's like a highly valued riding horse in the Middle Ages. Lighter weight horse, usually a smooth gait. Okay, so it's like a starter horse, not like a war horse at all. But that also means that if it's not like a war horse, it might get skittish of monsters. That's good to know. But it beats walking, right? And horses are expensive, right? It's not like the Wild West where horses were everywhere. If this is like the fantasy world Middle Ages, then only some people, like noble birth or soldiers, would have access to horses in the first place. It's my only companion here. I want it to feel at ease. I don't care how it feels, but I need it to be strong. If I want to travel, I can't afford another one. Is this like our opinion of it? I want it to feel at ease. I mean, we could try to teach the horse to be stronger. We pick this, right? Try to acclimate it and then try to break it in, if you will. Try to desensitize it to strong stimuli. But this isn't exactly the best place to do it. I don't know. Maybe back when I was being trained and risen, like brought up. Or do I want to like dote on our horse? But I mean, we're going out in the wilds fighting monsters, so I need it to be strong, and I can't afford another one just yet. Keeps watching its surroundings, ignoring your approach. You clear your throat and reach out for the reins, and only then the beast responds with a stomp of its leg. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. So is this our attitude of our horse now? I kind of feel bad about it, but... So I'm going to treat my animal like a tool. Which, you know, I lead it to the calf. You end up next to the fire pit, removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish you had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. If you've ever been hiking out in the woods and you've been backpacking, or you're military, you wear body armor or anything like that, it's so nice just to take that extra 25 pounds off your shoulders, if that makes sense, right? Oh man, I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of those sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Oh. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. It shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade, so this is like our starting gear, I guess. I was a fighter. I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. A mage, I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. A scholar, I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a healing potion. So this difference of worn versus fine, probably more armor, right? Ranged weapon, crossbow. Steel versus iron. More durable, maybe does more damage. Talismans that help me use my power, so maybe like some kind of magical focus. This scholar type, I want to learn more about the three classes. Yeah, let's do that. As a fighter, you'll have an easier time in physical challenges. Thanks to your superior equipment and hidden bonuses during dice rolls, you'll be physically more capable than the other classes. What opens unique opportunities during some social interactions. It's the best class for the RPG beginners. The fighter's weakness is their reliance on physical strength. Your special abilities won't be available to you. Your vitality points drop to 0. Okay. Magus uses Numa, I guess it's called. Maybe the P is silent. Numa. Okay. A versatile but limited pool of energy points that can be spent to cast a few humble spells. Magic won't protect you better than a sharp axe, but as a mage, you'll be able to heal faster while resting. Detect magic in a mysterious area, distract a beast with simple trick, and find a common tongue with other magic users. Using the mage's powers too freely will result in having no Numa left when you need it the most. Interesting. Definitely resource management. The scholar will know more about the world's mysteries than you. helping you take advantage of some unusual situations. Your character will impress the locals with his knowledge, and you'll be able to read the sparse written clues without anyone's assistance. Scholars struggle with combat more than other classes, but with enough carefulness and exploration, you'll gain access to alchemical mixtures that will help you escape from many dangerous situations. I mean, as a former infantry soldier, I would probably be biased towards the fighter, but knowledge has its own kind of power. You know, I'm thinking before I do something. I try to plan it out, what I want to do, and nowadays, I think I've become more of a scholar of learning. You know, instead of just turning my brain off, I now want to like learn everything I can. But the fighter may buy us the time to do that if we can change our stats here and there. The mage, interesting. You know, you got things kind of given to you, but when you run out of bullets, per se, you know, magical reserves or your well of power, you're kind of fucked. So maybe we'll do 3 runs if you're stuck to the class. But I'll pick, I don't know, fighter. That's what we'll do. I'll be a fighter. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still there. Just in case, you take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife. Nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. I return to the soldiers. So, let's see. Our armor is 3 or 4, and this is apparently a fine armor too. It's not even like brand spanking new, right? It will stop even a life-threatening strike. With your current gambeson, it's the best protection you can get. Taking hits will damage your armor. You can fix them. You can then fix it in various settlements. Okay, good to know. Inventory. These are food rations, enough for probably 2 days. Merchandise, pouch with coins. City artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. Our gambeson, built with rags, it's the cheapest type of armor, yet surprisingly effective, and a result very common. Yeah, gambeson, metal armor back in the day wasn't very common. I don't know if any of you watched like Scalogram on like YouTube or anything like that, but that's where I learned a lot about that stuff. You know, the misconceptions of Hollywood and TV telling you, oh yeah, everybody wore chainmail and plate armor back in the day, but no. A padded coat made of like woven linen was enough to protect you against even a sword cut, you know. The travel set contains all sorts of useful tools. Well-crafted battle axe. Oh, it's more than just an axe, huh? Learn how to fight humans and human-sized monsters while having a weapon made of steel makes it clear that you are someone to be reckoned with. A crossbow, difficult to make and valued for their usefulness, crossbows can be used even by an inexperienced traveler to pierce most scales and armor. Yeah, I mean, when technology invented the crossbow, it's like you just load it once and then you point and shoot. With a bow, it takes so much time to train an individual to shoot a bow, right? You have to pull back this whatever strength of the bow, you know, it could be like anywhere from 80 to like 100 pounds of draw pull. Then the person has to keep it back there and then aim certain distance and then judge on trajectory. You know, there's a lot of like physical strength necessary to do it. I've heard people needed like new people nowadays who in modern times they use like rubber bands to kind of stretch them back and forth, like these exercise bands, to kind of train the tendons in your wrist, because it's a lot of workout just to get it done. That sounds pretty cool. But we're a fighter and we're experienced with using this equipment, so let's return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beasts and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them, eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. I join them and take a look at the meal. I thank them for the meal, but I don't want to eat with them. Sit down and ask Tulia what she can tell me about this area. I completely ignore the meal. I sit down and speak to Tulia. Well, unless they poisoned my meal, we don't want to... what's the word? Offend them by not taking what they've offered, even if it's all they can offer, right? And we don't look gift horses in the mouth. It's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, some strange-looking cereals, and blueberries. Oh, okay, we get some vitamin C out of that. That's good. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. Well, from my understanding of, like, let's just say these soldiers are, you know, the law enforcement of the land. And, you know, I'm trying to compare it to, and we're the Roadwardens, and we're kind of like a, maybe not a mercenary, but like a bounty hunter, right? Now, some law enforcement don't like bounty hunters, but they both work for the same team, essentially. They both try to keep law and order. So maybe that's how they see it, right? As a soldier before, most people don't like mercenaries because they do things for money instead of for the principle, right? But everybody's trying to stay alive in this harsh land, apparently. I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste. I speak with Tulia. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. I share what I consider to be relevant. What I've discussed with the officials should stay between me and them. I mean, if these are my only point of contact out here in the middle of nowhere, and I need someone to come help me, because like one of the most dangerous things you could do if you're going out in the woods is get injured, right? If you have nobody to call out to, you know, a satellite phone or something, you're pretty fucked. You're dead. That's how it is. But I want to be able to come back here, so I'm gonna make these guys my comrades if I can. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you received, since this area is too far away from Havalavan. That's an interesting name. Havalavan. I'm trying to... Hovalan? Holovavan? To keep it under control, you are warned that it's untamed and unknown. I'm gonna butcher names. It's just gonna happen. Who knows? I'm just gonna call it H-Town, you know? Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. Lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? So, if you're crossing an ankle on the knee, you're putting yourself in a kind of vulnerable position. So, I think I can trust these people. What should I know about the peninsula? Any ideas what happened? Let's see. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of wants and needs. Will we get them all fulfilled? Probably not. Let's start with the top of the list. What should I know about the peninsula? Our area of operations, or AO. I'll tell you what and now, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day. As long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route, H-Town officials keep in touch with the coastal towns. Collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast, such as this one, is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Yeah, I mean, at least for the American Wild West, the only way we got it wild and tame is by massacring everything. We had to kill a shit ton of buffalo through contracts by the government. We had to displace huge amounts of people. We had to have people die of everything out there to natives. Just for it all to be civilized, or not civilized, but developed is the better word, right? Some places out there are still not part of civilization. It's just great countries of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. But because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. This sounds like terrible land. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore. They don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. She pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we traveled to the roadside inn, Pelt of the north, they're happy to trade and to play dice. Why not just stay at one of those settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and well, he turns to Tula. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Mr. Wolf, but are you a devout soul? Like missionaries? Me particularly, I mean, I'm not really religious per se, but I leave open the possibility of higher beings out there, right? Maybe they're not exactly gods, or maybe they're ascended people. I don't know. Anything could be possible out there. It's just, if I'm 99% sure, and there's that 1% thing that says I'm unsure, you might as well be fully unsure. If you know what I mean. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking up my ass at this point. Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I'm a part of the United Church. So maybe this talks about our faith. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth. I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. I have a strong connection to nature's spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. There's no evidence of the rite's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. Damn. Okay. There's no, something in a little in between, I don't know. I'm probably not this. They probably won't like me so much. So this is like a skeptic. Back then, if you're an atheist, you're just as bad as a pagan, right? Part of the church. I don't know. These people. I'm just gonna go with my gut. There's no evidence of the rite's existence. The man nods. I heard that most Roadwardens stripped away from churches. Doesn't matter to me, to neither of us, I think. As a lieutenant peeping at our command, I just wanted to make sure I won't step on any touchy subject. I mean, religion can get, like, really in between conversations if the person's not open-minded, right? So, I mean, I can go back in time, you know, read the history and that kind of thing. And even, like, listen to, like, religious scholars and things like that. And I think it's a good idea to at least listen to them, because humanity has learned lessons and forgot them over and over again in a cycle. And you can go back in some of those times and just read, right? Or listen. And they have their own lessons here and there, or like their own perspective that makes sense in the time, or it could even make sense now. We just won't listen to each other. But you won't. Go ahead. The people here are disquieting. Every few words she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here. She starts to draw lines from the index finger as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. Not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. So they're like necromancers. You've heard tales of such as this one once you were a child. If an isolated settlement managed to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions. They have to deal with it. And the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages. The bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. How far in were we? Okay. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? And how about the east? Any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? That sounds useful to us. We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, trents, cats, large enough and small. Small runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mouflon eaters, griffins. But we managed to stay away. That sounds like a lot of things that could mess us up. Some could catch up with most mounts. Some could catch up with most mounts. To the glances at her companion. Though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting amongst themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. I don't know if I want to count on luck, but we might have to. What's this? Nourishment. Okay, so because we were nice with them, they gave us food. Right, so... we're in a decent spot, right? What about these necromancers? You can see why we're not eager to go there if we could avoid it. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. The roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're headed to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first and soon. Tulia nods. Hell to the north is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeeper or the guards or ask them about the road. Alright, what about the east? She stares off the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches. We didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. That's interesting. So maybe like some druids or like fantasy elves? Or gnomes, maybe? That's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Yeah, I mean, she gave us the lay of the land, told us about where we're working, so I think that was plenty. More than I think we were ever gotten. Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? That's a good, yeah. Maybe we can learn from his mistakes. Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in the early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice, always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn, unlike us. Astra never gets bored. Tula lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Did the soldiers do something that this guy didn't like, or? I mean, these guys seem nice enough. They gave us a meal to eat. I'm not sure why the old warden just was an asshole. So it sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. You haven't seen him or a Saurian. Something ate him. Ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged meat-eating Saurians as their mounts. I'm guessing the Saurian is some kind of like four-legged lizard, like a Komodo dragon or something, or yeah. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatchlings, but unlike horses, could easily defend themselves from many monsters. On the other hand, they enjoy attacking nearby targets a bit too much. So they're not as smart. They like to, they got that lizard brain telling them, I want to eat something, or I gotta chase it. Has anybody ever watched the YouTube series, or YouTube channel about Joseph and the McMahon, right? Well, he's been training these lizards, these monitor lizard types, to go hunt rats and muskrats. And it has such a hard time trying to train it to let go of its prey, right? Because they have such a huge prey drive they want to eat whatever they catch, kind of deal. They won't give it up. So it was interesting, like a biologist or some kind of animal expert kind of deal, kind of thing. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulio. My predecessors left me no clues. We also took a look at Asteron's stuff. Wait, Tracer's open bomb. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near H-Town. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions, quite a treasure. She glances at you, but I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us. Tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to H-Town together. You think about your real mission. You're planning to return to H-Town in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows? You may just find a shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long red beard, shorter hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left, just let me know. Yeah, I mean, 5 feet tall isn't very tall at all. The average height in the United States is 5'10" for males. So is this guy not human? Maybe like a dwarf? Or maybe he's just a short person. I don't know. And that's our journal. We got quests here. Find the Roadwarden. Interesting. Alright. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down in her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. Alright, cool. You get a free rope. I take it and offer some food in return. Tula leans forward and rests her forearms on her thighs, looking down with clasped hands. Meets her eyes. I'd normally refuse, but we need some decent food. Every day I'm searching through our groats, looking for worms and putridity. We forage, but it's not a great spot. Some food rations will brighten up a foggy day. For now, you leave the rope on the table. I mean, they're extra hands in my opinion, right? It's better having 6 hands instead of 2, 3 heads instead of 1. And hopefully they stay alive because of us, you know? Their morale is important to me. So for now, you leave the rope on the table. What happened to your squad? Man shrugs, bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though. His command chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms while she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would have all died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. I wonder if this game is procedurally generated at all, or if this is just like the entry point where you learn to be what you are, or we could decide to bypass this camp and we can accidentally make our way into the other camp. That'd be kind of interesting to do later. Tulia sighs, very much so. They killed some and took others away. Who knows where? They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Wow. From 8 to 5, that's fast. Don't exaggerate, it's not that the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. We wanted to get rid of them and take over the camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road, saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well. Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader. And they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a Trent. Another one ignored by orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt. So a werebear tore her to pieces. Jesus. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had a cut on his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north. Find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. Like I said, man, you get messed up in the wild out there with nobody to help you, you're dead. You made this place safer. Barely. Tula seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. Tula, how did you become lieutenant? I mean, she's the highest ranking person here, right? Probably she asked for reinforcements. They said, hey, we can't spare the guys, right? And you're battlefield promoted as of today. And she's stuck at this post until further notice. That's my best guess. That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he doesn't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Each town chief selects commanders, they'll select the lieutenants, and put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you are a successor? Nah, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant, she just pauses. You're a third one in the line, is that it? Jumping like that to save a man in the middle of an attack doesn't sound like a wise decision. That's why there's a rule against fraternization in the military, and having relationships. The clouds your judgment, and it makes you make these rash decisions. So instead of like only one man going down, two people go down because your emotions got the better of you. But I'm not gonna bring that up. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Just straight to the point. Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I don't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Does she mean that she'll get demoted because it's like a policy thing, or she'll get demoted because she's gonna make it so that she gets demoted, as in like do something stupid? I don't know. What was your squad's mission? Looks in your eyes, you know the usual, making the roads safe, keeping people alive. Explain that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. Can't really tell you. Let's just say it would be nice to have a reliable outpost somewhere nearby. A place where you can always find a group of fighters willing to protect you in the name of the law. She tilts her head back. Now, if you have any other questions. Anything I should know about this camp? The one that's further ahead, by the inn. The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra shop for mules and donkeys, just between the inn and the southern villages. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. Bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whatever you want, the man concludes their tale. Don't expect to wake up without pain in your back. Yeah, I mean, we got a bedroll. I mean, we got a blanket, and we got the stars, right? If you wanted to make it more comfortable, you'd probably go out in the woods, find some moss, some branches and things like that, and then, you know, make it a little bit more comfortable, but we don't have time for that. If you were me, where would you go next? Let's see what the locals think. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. You can afford the room. The main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tula. The hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls, so it's a good place to pick up more information. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes. Stick to trade. Don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. See, if we didn't make friends with this person, we wouldn't have got this extra, you know, important information. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. I agree. Tula sighs with relief, and may you do better than Asteron did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Thanks for your help. You go to the barrel and splash water in your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. If you have ever been out in the middle of the woods for like a week or more, and you haven't taken a shower, you smell like shit. Your clothes smell like shit, and everything just like, just getting like a bit of water on a rag just to wipe your face in the grime and the dirt. All your fingernails, that's yeah. Then having to go to sleep like that, it's not great. I prepare for my watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, but they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Great. Better watch out for apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. This one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. A were-elk? Jeez, that doesn't sound great. He points at a gate. Lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? Gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points at the pile of crates. It's over here, I guess. This is their watchtower. A makeshift one, if anything. It's pretty much a step stool, in my opinion, but... you have a great view of the northern side. The more dangerous side. Apparently the north side is where all this shit happens. And also, I know you're tired, after all that writing. He points out the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple of hours sleeping on the ground. If you wish, go there after me and rest just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. Yeah, thanks a lot. See, it pays to be the guy that everybody likes, right? We could have been sleeping on the ground, but he's offering us his tent for the use while he's on his watch. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah. We should get the best sleep we can. What's it say? Appearance. You don't stand out from the crowd, you won't get much cleaner without our proper bath. Interesting. So I guess that's part of our reputation. Put a blanket on their tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment from time to time. Your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash with their antlers, a 2-legged dragon lining appears, leading its much smaller offspring. Their furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with roars and aggressive head movements. Every few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. It reminds me of my time when I had some night vision and I have to pay attention out there with a machine gun pointing in a different direction. And it can get very boring. You definitely want to close your eyes. But before I push this button, I'm going to save it here. And I'm going to call it as the first episode. So if you want to see more and see what happens next, you better subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.